Hey everybody, welcome. It's the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Ernie Johnson along with Shaquille O'Neal as the NBA season begins to pick up steam. Tonight we'll be watching the Orlando Magic playing against the Toronto Raptors. For Toronto, they were undefeated against this squad last season, going 3-0. We'll see if they can continue that dominance. Here's a guy that you played against, Jacques Vaughn. What do you think about his coaching style?
Well, when he played, he was a pretty good point guard. You know, he loved setting others up. Didn't really have a shot, but it didn't matter for him. He played hard, he played tenacious, and he loved the game. And I'm sure he's going to relay all those messages to his players. Just love what you do.
He can relate to the modern-day player, too, because he's, almost a contemporary of some of these guys.
Yeah, he hasn't been out of the league that long, so he can really relate to the young guys. He's a young guy himself. I think he may be one of the youngest coaches in the NBA today.
Do you have trouble relating to people?
Of course I do.
Yeah, I've noticed that. We'll see you next time.
Welcome, everyone, and what a game we have for you tonight. Kevin Harlan here, along with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr, as we get set to bring you NBA action on 2K Sports. This crowd is really ready to roar in this Eastern Conference matchup for the Magic. This, their first look at this year's Toronto squad. Well, you look at last year, they just could not find their footing, guys, against this team. They dropped all 3 games during the season.
This game kicks off what should be an interesting season series between these clubs. And, of course, they'll see each other 4 times this year.
Let's check out Toronto's starting lineup. Jackson is out there with Carter. Then there's Davis. Then there's Charles Oakley. And it's McGrady in at the 3 spot. Well, as Steve was saying, Clark, they're in the same conference. There's going to be a lot of familiarity there. And who knows, after that, they may see each other in the playoffs, too, if all goes right for them.
Well, that's certainly a possibility, Kevin, but we've got a long way to go before that scenario comes to pass.
That's right.
Roy Hibbert, really an all-around contributor at the center position. An elite rim protector. He can pass, post up, and even knock a shot down from the high post. He really does a lot of things to help you win.
Here's Payton, following the score by Vince Carter. From 10 feet out, no good on the shot, a bit long that time. And the Raptors with possession. They're coming into this game off that recent loss to Atlanta.
Well, you hate to say it, but they showed a lack of heart at the defensive end in losing that game. Just no effort.
I know the fans don't want to hear it, but you're exactly right. There was no energy, no assertiveness, no aggressiveness. The defense was just lifeless. And it's not a night that they're going to look back on fondly.
And Hibbert with the nice soft touch on that hook shot. With his height, you're not going to block that one.
You're exactly right, Kevin. He's got a really nice touch. One of the better free throw shooters among big men in the league as well.
And here is Payton. Vince Carter getting it to go from deep. Once again off the mark, Orlando. To the paint, here's McGrady. And it's Orlando with the rebound. Defeated by the Wizards in their last game. They'll try to put that one behind them.
Well, they heaved up a lot of ill-advised three-pointers in that loss. Guys, they were way too trigger-happy from downtown.
Yeah, and that's not the area on the court where you want to be forcing shots from. Heck, you were a great three-point shooter, and you know that, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it comes and goes, but you can't just rely on that when things aren't going your way.
So a new group on the floor for Orlando. Carter with the bucket.
Yeah, guys, so much emotion is going to be kind of going through his head in this one. Playing in your hometown can be a little nerve-wracking for some players, but normally after the first few possessions, you settle down and you just play your game. But no doubt he's going to notice that cheering section of friends and family he's got up in the stands.
For 3, Fournier, and no good trying to get that one. And so the first quarter is in the books. Raptors lead by 6. And back in a moment. All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. Taking a look here at the Raptors' performance here, Clark and Steve. What have they been doing or not doing, in your opinion?
And I thought the defense was key here for this club. They really tightened up and made it difficult on their opponent.
How about the help on the drives and rotations? I mean, they've really been in sync as a unit.
Gordon and Vucevic, the big men inside. Fournier out there with Luke Ridnour, and it's Harkless in at the 3. That's the good start in the second quarter for the Magic.
Yeah, not just an everyday finish. He put a little pizzazz on that one, guys.
Mo Harkless, a rangy, explosive small forward in his 3rd season out of St. John's, has tremendous potential, I think, to be an outstanding two-way player. He's an active defender, and I think he's got a chance to be an elite defensive stopper before long.
We've got 1:13 left in the first half. Ridnour from outside. They get it back. Gordon, it's blocked. An even 3-on-3 break. The open shot from Jackson. That's in there. Carter with the assist. Jackson's got the lead up to 6 now for Toronto.
Very clever passing. That was just beautifully done.
Ridnour passes to Vucevic. Dishes to Fournier. Kicks to Vucevic. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Vucevic is really a very capable mid-range jump shooter, but his post repertoire is still a work in progress, very much so. With his size and touch, you'd really like to see him develop that back-to-the-basket game.
Catching up on the changes for Orlando. Nicholson's checked in for Gordon. Tobias Harris comes in for Harkless. Victor Oladipo, he's checked in for Evan Fournier. And it's Payton in for Luke Ridnour.
You know, that's one way he can finish, but not the only way. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
You guys were talking about Vucevic developing inside Steve. There's also some work to do defensively.
Yeah, still a bit foul prone. He's got to follow the Roy Hibbert school of defense, remaining vertical, walling off the rim, and avoiding those fouls.
And that's the kind of play you just do not want to give up defensively. You lose the possession and give up a quick 2 at the other end. That's losing basketball.
And especially when you can't afford to give up any buckets, that pushes this lead up instead of going the other way.
Carter outside. A chance there to push it to double digits, but it's off the mark. From half court, cannot hit. And we've reached half. The second half just about to get going here. Vince Carter really making a difference here.
You know, he spoils us with his performances game in and game out, and so far just another big scoring night for him.
Typically, when he puts up that many points in the first half, he's going to follow it up with a better second half. We'll see if that happens here.
So the Raptors 5 right now. They've got Carter. Cowboy is out there with Willis. Then there's Brown, and it's Oakley in at the 5, down low.
Well, you knew he'd win that race.
Definitely. I mean, that's what you call early offense.
And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Thank you, Kevin. Elfrid Payton has some very noticeable hair on the floor. He said the story behind it is as follows. Me and my teammates in high school agreed we wouldn't cut our hair the entire season until we won a state championship. We wound up losing in the semifinals, but I liked what it was doing and just let it keep growing and growing. Guys, will it ever end?
We'll see if it does. Thanks, Doris. A minute 20 left here in the third quarter.
The Raptors, one of the top defensive teams in the league last season. Not something we've historically associated with this franchise, but give credit to Dwayne Casey and his staff. I mean, we've got this young team competing at that end of the floor, and that's where it starts if you're going to be good defensively. You've got to want to play at that end of the floor.
Raptors leading by 10. Carter outside. Carter right side. Releases from 15, and it's McGrady that time on the assist by Carter. Carter's got 3 assists tonight. The Magic shooting 23% from the field. That's not going to get it done. And it'll be Orlando with their first time out of the game right here. Although the season record wasn't the best for the Magic, they were pleased with the leadership they had in place.
Yeah, they extended the coach even after a down year, and that sat well with both the players and the staff. Confidence in
Shot clock.
Yeah.
And here again, the Raptors in transition. Up the court they go. And he gets the bucket. Carter's got 4 points in the quarter.
Boy, they looked helpless defensively.
It's a 4-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. Here's Ridenour. Lays it in without an inch of room around him. Here's Brown. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Carter drives it.
Oh, what a throw down there. Man,
The rim rattler.
just a remarkable jam. These fans' jaws are on the ground right now.
Yeah, that is Showtime stuff right there. Major highlight reel material.
Vucevic a screen on Brown. Shoots from 12. 2 on the clock. And, there's a whistle. He was going up for a layup. And while it looked like there was some contact, I wasn't sure they were going to call it a foul shot or not. But sure enough, they have. So he'll head to the free throw line. Good on the second free throw. So timeout called here, the first for Toronto.
I think he believes that if he takes some time here to kind of talk things over, it'll be well served for this club.
And, you know, maybe this gives him an opportunity to toy around with some of their...
And it's time now to bring you our State Farm assist of the game.
This was an exceptional pass, guys, and we see the result. It hits him in stride, and bam, the slam dunk.
Oladipo and Harkless at the 2 and the 3. Roy Hibbert is out there with Gordon, and it's Payton in at point guard. So that's the lineup on the floor for the Magic. There's the dish to Gordon. The pass to Harkless. It's going to be out of bounds. The Magic will retain possession.
Now, that pass had just a little bit too much heat on it for him to make a clean steal.
Yeah, I think it would have been a tough catch for either of them.
Orlando making some changes. Fry comes in for Gordon, and Tobias Harris subbed in for Maurice Harkless. The wide open look here for Oladipo, and it hung on the rim but wouldn't fall for him. Carter drives in. McGrady outside. No good on the 3. The Magic trail by 15.
And so here we go, just rolling along to the finish line in what has been a very confident-looking performance for the Raptors.
Clark, what do you think was the deciding factor in this one?
Simply field goal percentage. They shot the ball much better than the opponent.
And it'll go down as their first official win of the new year.
Well, this win gives them a victory in round 1 of what's basically a 4-game fight between these teams this season.
And it will be a fight, Steve. When you see an opponent that many times, it's inevitable that those games take on a little extra meaning for the players.
Fantastic show put on. What an amazing game all around it was for Vince Carter. He was extremely efficient offensively, getting looks, knocking down big shots all game long.
Here's McGrady, and the bucket counts, and he's on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a 3-point play.
And they're not finished yet. They're going to make sure about this win.
Yeah, that's how you close out a game, Steve.
You have to hand it to the Magic last year. They were a solid team when they played here in Orlando.
Yeah, and that would be indicative of a young team that's trying to find itself. Usually, a team in that rebuilding mode will play better at home.
And it's Carter penetrating, passes it to McGrady. That's in there. Carter with the assist. And the Raptors lead by 17.
And the crowd here, of course, not happy about the outcome. But you know what? We saw a team tonight that came in prepared to do battle on the road, and they clearly wanted to win.
You know, they were determined to steal this game, and they showed it, Steve. Played harder and got the job done.
Let's go. And again, it's Toronto converting.
And that puts a cherry on top, so to speak, of what's been a phenomenal showing for them.
All over but the whining now, Steve.
It's Oladipo on the wing. Williams with the block from the length of the floor. Can't get it to fall. And so Toronto takes this one, but by a big margin. They put on a show tonight, thoroughly controlling each end of the floor.